Boss Fight Gaming. Get ready. Fight!
Hey guys, welcome to a tutorial by us, Boss Fight Gaming. Today we're playing Call of Duty Vanguard and we're going for the achievement, the tip of the spear. Now this is going to be a multiple video achievement guide because this is quite long-winded. I am going to try and make it as short as possible, but obviously being as formative as possible at the same time. But this is to basically complete the game on veteran difficulty by going through each of the levels and completing them and basically making it as easy as possible for you guys. So I'm going to walk through what I do, and hopefully that will help you get through these levels without much sort of force, without having to sort of struggle your way through and figure out what you need to do. I'm going to do all that and then make it as easy as possible for you guys to follow on. So first of all, drop out the train and make your way forward on the right train and follow your team forward. Just keep going forward and then hop on the train to the left. Be careful not to fall between the two because it will kill you. Once you get to the door should I say, you will need to go inside. Make sure you collect the ammo when you go through. Always collect the ammo when you get a chance to. Keep going forward and there's a guy ahead of you, but the nice sniper lady will drop down and kill him. Once you get to the next part, go to the right train and make your way around. There's a couple of boxes and other things that you need to make your way around. There's a guy just ahead of you on the right side. You will need to take him down by using your takedown ability, which is a silent kill. And then we're going to head into the train itself. There's a guy inside the orange lit room, sort of train cart should I say, and there's two guys on the left. Just basically lay into them with your machine gun and then move over to the same train they were on, and then come around to the left. You'll see a locked door. At this point we need to go around the ledge to the left of this train cart. So once you've moved over to the left train, come around this path here, and then we're going to chuck a grenade through the window and kill the two guys at the end of the train cart inside. So chuck a grenade through the window. If it doesn't kill them, it will sort of startle them and make it a little bit easier for you to kill them. Be careful when popping around this box because there may be one or two of the enemies still alive. If not, just carry on forward. If there is, just take them guys out. Now on this part I would recommend picking up the ST-44, I believe it is. The machine gun on the floor. It is a little bit better at distance than the SMGs that you are already holding, so pick up that. Then I want you to concentrate on the enemies on the left hand train using the sort of barrier, the guard ahead of you, making sure that that's protecting you. You can lean on it so you can mount on it, and you can use that to then shoot the enemies. Now you won't get any hit markers, so be sure that you know the enemy are dead before pushing forward. And basically clear, there's 3 enemies on this cart I believe, or 4. Just check to your right when you move up, just to make sure there's no enemy still sitting behind that box, and then climb up on the roof. Now straight away, we're going to jump down inside the hatch after killing this guy. We don't want to stay up on the roofs of the carts because this is where you will die on veteran if you do. There should be another guy in this train cart with us, and just outside to the right, a truck should pull up. Well, 2 trucks should pull up. Make sure you're dipping in and out of cover against these trucks, and shoot the driver after killing the guy in the back. And then kill the guy in the back of the other truck. Now if you do get hurt enough that your screen goes dark like this, be sure to duck into cover until you are fully healed and the blood is removed off your screen. Once you've done that, move over to the other cart and move forward. A guy will come in the doorway and you will head through that cart towards the end of this cart. Now this next cart, there's holes in the wall on the left. That's because the enemy are about to start shooting at you through there. What I'd recommend is slowly making your way from left to right down this cart, looking out the left sort of side and taking out as many enemies as you can, using the wall on your left hand side as a sort of protector. So basically shoot the guys further away first on the train on the left, and then sort of slowly kill the enemies to your left as you go. Keeping in mind that if you do miss any like I did there, you will get some enemies firing at you there, so be careful about that. Once we leave this cart, there is going to be another truck to our right, so be very careful of this. It pulls up to our right there. Kill the 2 guys in the back, or just hold back and get into cover while the guy on the top does the work for you. As we climb up here, a truck will pull between the 2 trains to our left. We need to shoot the guy off the back, then quickly jump into the back of his car. So jump in the back of his car. Now you can pick up the LMG here if you want. I would actually recommend it. It's a really good gun. Go into the cart on the left hand side and shoot the 2 enemies inside. If the nice lady hasn't done that before you have, that is. Once you've done that, oh yeah, there's a PPSH here. I would recommend picking up that gun. It's really good SMG. And once we're on the roof here, I would recommend going over quickly, then dropping down into the next cart as quickly as possible. Because as I mentioned previously, being on the roof of these carts will get you killed pretty quickly. So jump onto the next tree, then jump in the roof hatch. Then keep pushing forward, not forgetting to pick up your ammo. Now every time you have to climb up, it forces you to climb up on top of high parts. Run as quick as you can to get down to the next part, so that you're not stood up on top of the train for too long. So as you can see, I'm running along as quick as I can, just so I don't get shot. Then when you're in these sort of areas which are quite low, use these as cover and shooting the enemy in this train to the right. And also there is enemies to your left. What I do here is I realise that he's a bit of a pain, so I do try to chuck a grenade but fail miserably. But all you need to do is cook one up a little bit and chuck it in that hatch, and hopefully that should kill the guy on the right. If not, you will need to be a bit more accurate than me and kill him. Again, once you've killed a few guys here, you will need to push up. I believe there's two inside the train to the right, one to the left, and one a bit further up to the right as well. Once you get to this little cart here, this sort of little mini tank thing, get in the back and start laying into the cart, the train cart that's just up ahead of you. Stop shooting every couple of seconds just so you can see where the enemies are, and then use the gun to actually waste them. Be careful not to shoot your own team, not that it really matters, but just keep that in mind. Anyway, once you've killed a few guys that are inside that cart, drop out of the vehicle that you were in and start making your way forward on the same train. Go through the door on the left hand side and make your way around. Be careful of the guy in the back of the truck. As you come around the corner to the right, there's two other enemies in the truck that's going to be in between the two trains. So do shoot those guys, then head into this train to the left. When you head in this train to the left, there are sometimes a guy here, but he's not here now. Cook up a grenade and throw it down the corridor, and that will kill or potentially kill one or two of the enemies that are in there. Then keep moving forward, staying to the left hand side, the left hand train. It will force you to climb up on top here, as I previously mentioned. Make sure you run as soon as you climb up. Drop down, and there's 4 or 5 enemies on the right there. Be sure to duck into cover and kill as many as you can as quickly as you can. Then there is another vehicle ahead with a machine gun on the back. All you need to do is shoot at the guys on the right that are the sort of targets for you. Don't go too far ahead because the vehicle will waste you. You just got to wait for the tank to shoot it so that you can then move forward. Once the tank has destroyed it, push up forward and keep going. I don't know if you have to jump between the train carts. I always do, just in case, but just keep that in mind if you are moving across, that I do jump, so you may have to. Don't forget to always pick up the ammo. When you get to the end of the train, shoot the driver, and then once you've shot the driver, just keep pushing forward, and eventually it will tell you to jump across where the little sort of shield symbol is. Run and jump there, and you will land in the other side of the train, and you will move on to the next area. Now, once you've gone through this sort of cutscene and you're on the train station area, grab some ammo from the box to your right as you leave the train and follow it round. 2 guys and a dog will be sitting trying to fix a truck. The dog's probably doing the most work. Kill these guys however way you want, so shoot them all. Just be sure that you do kill the dog, because they do kill you one hit. I would actually recommend switching your secondary weapon for the Car 98 that one of those guys drop, and using that to kill as many enemies as possible. Be careful, a dog does drop down onto the train tracks just after you cross over. Be careful that you don't walk in front of any trains as you are sort of going across these tracks. And yeah, basically move to the left hand side where the train is on site. Always stick to the left here, using all the sort of trains and things on the left hand side as your cover. Using the Car 98 from a distance to take out as many of these enemies as possible. Keeping in mind their accuracy is absolutely crazy, and they will literally waste you from miles away. But as long as you remember, if you do take any damage, just lay down on the floor and hopefully in some cover, and that will keep you safe. Now, I did find a Car 98 here with a scope on it. If you do see one yourself, I would recommend picking it up, because it will help you massively. As I mentioned, don't forget to take cover if you do take any damage. And again, I'm just picking off all the enemies in the distance with this Car 98, taking my time, clearing them out before I move forward. again, just keep shooting at these guys as you move up, using the sort of side of the train track as cover, and any boxes and anything on the left hand side as cover yourself. As you move up here, it will ask you to shoot a sniper up on the balcony, but instead of doing that, actually there's a couple more guys first. Take out these couple more. Right now it tells you to take out the sniper on the balcony. Before you do that, kill the dog, because it does try and draw your attention to the sniper, but if you do look at him too soon, the dog will come and kill you, so keep that in mind. Once you've killed the dog and the sniper, then you can concentrate on all the enemies down in the corridor. Now this bit can be a little bit tricky as you push forward. You'll see what I mean in just a second. As you push forward towards this door and you've killed quite a few enemies, smoke grenades will go off. Once those smoke grenades go off, what I would recommend doing is sort of cooking up a flash grenade, and just as you see the enemies coming through the smoke, chuck that out and trying to waste as many as you can with your SMG. This can be a little bit tricky, so if you do take any damage, be sure to duck behind the barrels as quickly as you can, and hopefully you got enough rounds to also kill the dogs. I get really lucky there because the dogs stop for a second for some strange reason, which gives me a chance to reload. Anyway, once you've killed the 2 dogs and a few men, what you need to do is sort of switch back to your Car 98 and try and pick any guys up in the distance. And as you push forward, they usually run away over to the left and up to the stairs. Let your team push on ahead, and you can pick up any ammo that you can see lying around on the floor. Let your team push ahead, and they usually kill the last few remaining enemy in this room. If they don't, just slowly take your time and kill them yourself. Then head up towards the steps on the left hand side and make your way up the steps yourself. Keep following this room around, and then you'll go into the door, and then again there will be a little bit of a scene where they're talking and stuff, and then you will need to push on. I'm going to cut this bit, but just keep that in mind. There is a little bit of a dialogue here. Now once that dialogue is over, you will be having to move a thing that's in the way of the door. Move that, then make your way down the stairs past the barrels towards your team, then right into sort of a red area. Now this is overlooking the sub pen bay. Now this part can be a little bit tricky if you try to push it too fast. The sort of scene itself tries to make you rush by telling you that the sub's going to leave and all this, so just keep in mind that you don't really need to rush. Just take your time and ignore the sort of prompts. Now the thing I would recommend doing here is taking out all the enemies on top of the sub and on the balconies in the distance, because these are going to be your biggest threat. If you do leave it a little while, your team actually do waste most of the guys on top of the sub and on the highest points. But once you've taken those guys out, what I would recommend doing is staying up here just for now by this sort of rail and aiming down to the right of the sub and trying to kill as many enemies in the distance that you can from here. And once you can no longer see any enemies from this sort of vantage, what I would recommend doing is making your way down a little bit behind this little fence here, and then using this gap between the 2 fence posts or railings, whatever you want to call it, and use this vantage point to shoot. Now there is a sniper rifle there with a better scope. If you want to use that, by all means do so. I like to use this one. It gives me a bit more sort of visibility on close range and distance. But yeah, stay in this sort of point of view and just keep popping your head up every now and again, just checking that you've killed everybody. If you do take damage again, make sure you get to cover as quick as you can and just stay in it until there's no more blood on your screen. Keeping in mind, guys, also that this is going to require some skill as well as luck, and please don't like or dislike the video just because you struggle, because it does take some skill on your part. But once you've cleared out those few guys ahead, just keep pushing forward, and eventually it may spawn a few other enemies ahead of you. If it doesn't, that's absolutely fine. Just keep moving up and make sure that you kill all the enemies in the distance before doing so, and make sure you pick up any ammo on the way. Now there's grenades and stuff here. I would recommend picking the grenades up and any ammo that the enemy drop by walking over their bodies and holding X. Once you've done that, keep going forward and work your way up these steps to the right, and then you can either climb the boxes to your right or climb the ladder. Keep in mind an enemy's about to rush you. There he is. He always tries to do that. Once you get to this point, I would recommend lying down behind the barrels and let your team do as much of the damage as possible here. If you did take any damage yourself, just lay here for a few moments until the blood's gone off your screen, then pop up and kill some of the enemies. Again, it is worth having the sniper rifle here because, again, it is one-shot kill. Spraying with the SMG and machine gun at this distance can sometimes be a bit useless, especially if the enemy are in cover and we need to sort of keep as much of the ammo as possible. So yeah, I would recommend using the car here if you are okay with sniper rifles. Wait for them to pop up and shoot them in the head. Again, if you do take damage, just get yourself back into cover. Don't forget to reload. Once you are moving up, I would always recommend switching to an SMG or an AR if you are moving around, just in case somebody does pop out on you. Pick up this ammo over here, and then this part's a little bit of a pain. You will need to look down this sort of dock area, and Albert gets me killed here. So I will actually die in a second. I'm going to leave this in, just because I want to show you that Arthur, not Albert, Arthur I meant. Arthur can actually get you killed there if you don't allow him to sort of move on. What I'd recommend doing is moving backwards and giving him a bit of space to move forward, just like that. If for any reason he doesn't, what I'd recommend doing is just sort of popping in and out, and hopefully eventually he will move forward. And when he does, you just use this sort of corner to snipe all the way down and kill as many enemies as possible. You will kill about 3 or 4 enemies down there. When you start pushing forward, your team will start pushing forward too, and usually they will clear out whatever enemies are left. So as you can see, I think we've managed to kill them all. I think there's 4 or 5 enemies there. Try to stay on the right hand side just in case any more enemies to the left, and you will hear the female character mention that all the Nazis are dead. When that happens, just keep pushing forward and follow it around to the right. Keep going forward until you get to the sub. Now this bit's a bit tricky. Now when you drop down this hole, you will need to shoot the guy that's running away as quickly as you can. So shoot him and then instantly lie down in the prone position and chuck a grenade down the end of the corridor. This should hopefully kill both enemies. Sometimes, like on my screen there where I died, it only killed one of them. Now, if you get this right, you can do this very easily. But yeah, basically shoot that guy, lie down on the floor, chuck a grenade at the end of the corridor. Keeping in mind there's a guy on the left hand side of the doorway at the end and a guy on the right hand side of the doorway. And just hopefully take your time here and you should get the kills. It only spawns you just back a little bit, so if you do die, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, shoot the guy on the left and shoot the guy on the right if the grenade for some reason doesn't kill them. You can chuck a couple of grenades and hopefully they are dead. If not, when you stand up, they will run from either left to right or right to left to shoot them. Be careful, this door just up ahead. What I would recommend doing is lying down on the floor, looking upwards, opening the door, and then shooting the enemy straight away that's just inside, because he does have a shotgun and he does one-shot kill you if you don't do that. There's another enemy a bit further down. If you don't have any grenades left, just shoot them both. If you do have a grenade, fantastic. Chuck that at the end of there and it should kill them both. Then a little cutscene will trigger where you're sort of walking through the smoke and stuff, and then Arthur will push forward, and that will sort of be the end of this level. Now there is a little tiny bit more, so I'm just going to let this play through just so you guys can sort of catch up with me. As I mentioned, Arthur pushes up ahead, and then there is going to be a bit of a cutscene just after you kill these couple of guys, and then Arthur asks you to lockpick the box. Now I am going to trim the video just a little bit here just until the next level, just so you don't have to watch me do what you've got to do anyway. But yeah, that's the end of that first level. Let's move on to the second level. Just to let you know, guys, if you haven't already, we would really appreciate a sub. We do make lots of videos just like this to help you get achievements, so we'd really appreciate if you could support us back, and we will continue to put videos out just like this to help support you. Right, let's move on to level 2. So once we go to level 2, things do get a little bit hot. So run forward up the hill to the right towards the flames, and then crouch down behind this wooden sort of stump as quickly as you can before the guy with the torch sees you. Just wait here for a little minute or so, just until he sort of got bored, and then he sort of walks off to his right. Now we're going to run to our right and just keep running through the woods. Head towards the flaming tree, run around it to the right. And then head towards the guy hanging in the distance. He spots you, but it's too late. He gets shot by a Nazi who rushes him. We need to rush that Nazi and use the takedown option and kill him. Then it sets a little bit of a cutscene, and one of the other Nazi guys will walk towards you, and our character stumbles for the gun. And I think we have to press trigger there. I've always pressed it, but I'm not sure if it does it itself or you have to press it, but I do anyway. So just press it just in case, but I'm not sure if you actually have to press anything or not. Anyway, once we get our weapon, we're going to head towards where we just shot the other guy and sort of follow it round. And then head up towards these lights in the distance by this fence. Crouch by this bush just up by the fence. And then let all the enemy vehicles and troops go past. So just camp in this bush just for a little minute. And then once they've all gone past, we're free to sort of move up. We want to use these things just ahead. This cart, first of all, as cover. So run over to that and crouch down behind it. Then run behind the bush and crouch behind that. And then run behind these barrels and crouch behind those. And then slowly make your way over to these log pile. Keeping in mind the guys to our left could potentially see us. If they see you, you may wish to restart the checkpoint, just so you don't have to fight everybody. Creep over to this guy that's stood next to the truck on the right hand side. We need to kill him. Just be careful of the guy walking in the distance there. Knife this guy. And then most people would be tempted to go around to the right, but don't. Just wait for this guy to turn around. And then we're going to go around to the left of those boxes and come behind him. And we're going to kill him by using our takedown. So yeah, use your takedown there. Turn around and we're going to go and use our takedown on this guy here, looking down into the basement of this house here. So yeah, creep up to him and use your takedown. Once we use our takedown on him, we are actually going to go behind this truck that we've already walked past, and we're actually going to get some ammo out of it, just so we got enough for the next fight. It is a little bit annoying because it gives you a little bit of an annoying cutscene. It's just trying to add a bit of sort of depth to the story, I'm assuming. Adding a bit of animation in there, but it's a little bit frustrating in my opinion. But yeah, pick up those ammo there, and then turn around and head towards these two guys that were behind us. And we're going to kill the first guy by using takedown. Then the second guy you need to sort of run towards and take down him before he gets a chance to get off a bullet. Because if he gets off a bullet, all the enemies that drove past us before will come back up the road. Anyway, once you've done that, we need to go inside this house. And now we need to creep through the basement. If you don't creep, the guys will actually see you from above inside the floorboards. And they will shoot you from above, which makes it very difficult because you can't really see them very well. So yeah, just creep through the house here. If you get spotted or you die, just respawn the checkpoint. Once you're through here, head up the stairs, which are in this corner over here. Head up to the right. And once we're at the top of the stairs, once we're at the top of the stairs, it will ask us to open the door. Keeping in mind that the enemy will start shooting at us as soon as we open it, and he is stood just to our left. So open the door, wait a couple of seconds, then peek around and shoot him. He's directly in line with that wall, and then peek around to the left even more, and there's one other guy there as well. The wall gets blown up and a big hole is put in the wall just ahead of us. I would recommend coming down here and trying to pick up this guy's gun, but if you can't quite find it on the floor, just take out the guys outside with the Car 98 that you're already carrying, turn around and pick up his gun once you get a chance to. Turn around again, have a quick look outside where we just killed the other guy and see if there's any enemies. If not, we need to head outside, walk towards this wall, then turn around quickly once the whistle goes and run back inside. Once you do that, come over to this window over here and look through it with your machine gun, the one that you picked up off the floor. 2 or 3 guys should run past and be ready for when they run past, because you will need to try and kill them before they get through. If any of them get through, don't worry, they will come through the hole on the left where we came through before, so just keep that in mind. If they get over that wall, they will try and come to our left. So there's 2 of them. I think there's 2 more actually. One's there jumping over the wall now, as you can see. In fact, there's 2 there. So I think that's all 4 of them. You can shoot them through this window, but I wouldn't recommend it because it's very hard to see out of there. So this guy's going to come through here. Once that flare's gone, it makes it a lot easier. There's a gun over here. I would actually recommend picking that one up. It's a very, very good gun over by the window there. The window which is just to the right of this hole. Or the closest window to the right of this hole. Then I'd recommend switching back to our Car 98 and shooting the enemies that are in the distance. They are usually just behind the wall over here. So yeah, take those guys out. And then when you hear a dog running towards you, run back over towards this window sort of area and aim down by this wooden table. And then when the dogs come running in, there's two dogs, when they come running in, just keep aiming here and kill them. Keep it in mind, dogs will kill you one hit if they get close enough, so it's best to head back into that corner. Then come back over here and try to kill as many people as possible that are close to the wall. Now eventually you will kill all the guys that are pretty close, and the only ones that are left will be the ones in the distance. When that is the case, we'll need to start moving up again behind cover a little bit closer to them, because trying to see them from this distance can be very, very difficult. Now you might have a massive TV. If you can't, if you do, then awesome, use that to your advantage and kill those guys from distance. If you don't, push up like I am to this wall and try and take out a couple of the guys that are left just from this sort of vantage point. Again, it's still very difficult even from this sort of distance. So just try your best to try and take a couple of them out. If you do struggle, move around to the left over here and then try and move up to the next sort of set of cover, which can either be one of these logs to our left, or the rock, or maybe even the tree. Just keep in mind, the closer you get, the more damage you're going to take when you're sort of moving out in the open. But again, just try and take out as many of these enemies as you can with your Car 98 from a distance. And again, if you struggle to do so, just try moving up a little bit. Keep in mind though, if you do die, you are going to have to go back to the checkpoint, which is a little bit further back than this. But anyway, push over to the left. Keep in mind there might be some enemies left. I know there isn't, but there could have been. So just move to the left and slowly move between cover and cover. Try to pick up any ammo that's around from these enemies, these dead bodies. And then there's a box of ammo right up on the top and there, just before you push up towards the flaming windmill. So yeah, head up the path towards the flaming windmill. So yeah, just keep going towards the windmill in the distance there. You will get a checkpoint just as you get towards the top of the hill. Now there's a few enemies in this hut over here. I would recommend coming in through this door. You don't have to, but I would recommend it. A guy comes over to the sort of right there. In fact, two enemies to the right there. I missed one and he shoots me a little bit. But yeah, two guys to the right. And then there's one behind the wall to our left. And then there's one up by the door in the distance. Then there's another one to our second left there. So yeah, you can kill the guy up to the second left. Don't forget to pick up any grenades if you get a chance to. Kill that guy second left. And there might be another one in the doorway a little bit in the distance. Or did we? No, we got him. That's fine. Once you've killed all them, just push outside. And your team will be here. I am going to cut this a little bit. There's no point in me making you watch me do it, then watch yourself doing it. So you may want to pause the video while you wait for yours to catch up. Once you've caught up, you will have to come out here into the open. I would recommend picking up any ammo and grenades that you are now needing, which are both on the right hand side as you climb through the hole there. Then we're going to push forward past that little fire, then just keep pushing up the hill. You'll have to climb up a little ledge, and then there's a checkpoint. You can look over the little lip and listen to your guys, but I would just recommend pushing to the right, going down this little hill here, and keep going forward. In a second, you will get an option to use your ability, which is to press up on your D-pad to tell your team where to shoot. So just press up on either of those two targets, and that will select either of those, and your team will start shooting at them. I would recommend pushing up to the right here and getting behind this rock as quickly as you can, and then using this as your vantage point to shoot back down towards the truck, killing as many of these Nazis as possible. And for me, I did that really easily. If you struggle there, just try to get to that rock a little bit earlier than you did the first time. On this point, you will look on the corner and there will be a half sort of little tank thing shooting at you in the distance. Rush forward and get the smokes off this table and crouch behind the table as well, and tell your team to attack any of the two sort of targets on the left hand side while you sort of concentrate on the opposite of whatever you've told them to do. You can use your Car 98 to sort of pick off any enemies behind boxes and stuff, and we are going to stick to the left hand side of the map over here. There is three sort of paths you can take, but we are going to stick to the left. So push up on the left hand side, kill any enemies hiding behind the boxes, and then we are going to head a little bit further to the left, picking up the ammo from this box here and moving our way between these two boxes. There's a little guy running around inside here. We're going to push forward and he tries to sort of rush us. And then another one will rush us with a bayonet. We need to kill him as well. And then when we go through, be careful of any grenades there. You could have gone through, but a grenade landed for me. When we turn right, there's going to be about 6 or 7 guys. Just start wasting them all. Shoot as many of these guys as you can. Then we're going to move over here and look back towards the sort of tank thing, the little machine gun tank thing. And we're going to press up on our D-pad so that our team suppress it. We're then going to get our Car 98 and we're going to aim directly for the guy's head that's on the gun on the top. Once his head pops up on the gun, when our team are not suppressing him. So once our team stops suppressing him, he will pop back up to start shooting. We're going to headshot him. And then we're going to start picking off all his little teammates from behind. And as this truck pulls up, we're going to press up on our D-pad to tell our team to concentrate on the enemies that get out of that. There will be a couple of enemies to our left, so be careful they don't manage to push up too close behind you. Because if they do, they may kill you from shooting you in the back. Again, they are just on our left over here. But yeah, concentrate on the guys over by that little sort of tank machine gun thing. Half track, I think it's called. And then once you've sort of killed many of those, look to your left here behind these boxes and start shooting these enemies. Just to make you aware, we are stood next to this little tower here, this little that's where I was stood all that time, so make your way to there. If you do need to if you are struggling on this area, because it can be very tricky, this part, just rewind the video a little bit and just sort of have a look where I was stood, and you'll see that I was sort of using the boxes to my left as cover as I took out most of those enemies. And again, it's very important that you shoot the guy on the top of the half track as soon as you can. When you get to this bridge here, you will need to press up on your D-pad on the gun at the top so that your team suppress it, so that you're able to move closer. Every time it runs out, when it's gold you can run forward, when it's white you will need to stop. When you get to this grenade box, it will automatically start shooting at you again. Crouch behind the grenade box and start throwing grenades towards the firing machine gun, and eventually you should take it out and be able to push forward and get into this truck, which will take us to the next part of the level. I've sped it up a little bit here because it's very slow, so you may want to pause the video till you catch up. There's an ammo box just up the top of the hill on the left. I stick with the same gun because I think it is the best gun out of the ones that we have. And again, it was the one that we found in that little house. Again, I have sped up the video. There is some bunkers and stuff that you will need to look at through the binoculars. So you may wish to pause the video once when you need to catch up. I do actually speed the video up until we get the truck into the minefield, which is just in a moment. So if you want to wait till that point before you pause the video, that's absolutely up to you. But yeah, we go down the hill in this little truck, follow it around, and just as it says jump, we're going to jump out, and the truck will then blow up on the minefield. Both trucks, should I say, will blow up on the minefield, and then we're going to push forward. So when you stand up, you will need to run forward and get into the little trench with your teammates. You will take a little bit of damage here, which I think is intentional, but I've never died here, so I'm assuming that you won't die. If you do die there, I am sorry about that. I didn't know you could. So what we're going to do here is we're going to walk over to our team in here. It'll give us a couple of options to press up on our D-pad to get these guys rallied for the next attack. Hopefully you picked up the smokes like I mentioned. Once we press up on our D-pad on the other side of this grassy thingy here, our team are all going to start running across and we're going to chuck some smokes. You will get an achievement here if you haven't already. And we're going to run across this field and we're going to push to our left. Just keep sticking to the left and follow it round to the left and then drop into the trench over on the far left hand side. And there's a bunker just up ahead. We're going to chuck a couple of grenades in and shoot any enemies that run out. And then we're just going to sort of creep towards that while crouched. And every time the little white arrow thing pops up, we're going to tell our team to attack it. And they will chuck grenades in there. Be very close, careful when you get close because the team that are inside will do a lot of damage to you. So just stick around this corner. Anybody that tries to sort of rush out, we're going to shoot. And any sort of grenades that we have spare, we're just going to chuck in there. Try to keep a hold of your smoke grenades because they will become in handy as we move further forward. So after that, we're going to make our way into this bunker, and you can't use these guns, which I think is a bit stupid, but anyway, we're going to head up these stairs, and in this room you can recollect ammunition and smoke grenades, so I would recommend doing both. Pick up the ammunition on the right there and the smoke grenades as well. There are numerous weapons around the room. If you're more comfortable with those, I would recommend picking them up. However, I am going to stick with the one I've got at the moment. Once you come outside, I would recommend crouching down, and we're going to make our way to the sort of path on the left. It's kind of like a fork. We're going to go on the one on the left. Every time you get the chance to, I would recommend pressing up on your D-pad and getting your team to sort of push those sort of targets. As you can see, it's always in the distance there. What I'd recommend doing, once you get back to this sort of central position, peek this corner and snipe the machine gunner off the top of the sort of ATV half track. Push up, and then we're going to go left again. So we're sort of sticking to the left inside the trench. And I would recommend always stay crouched and always peek your corners. Try to take out as many enemies as you can before you go around the bend. Again, there's another guy here in the other half track. You can just see the top of his head, so I would recommend taking him out from this point. If for any reason you can't see his head there, you can move up to that little ramp on your left there on the screen, and then use that to sort of pop him in the head. And then once you've done that, we're going to push up a little bit further. Keeping in mind, if you do take damage, you will want to crouch down behind something. And then slowly make your way up, killing as many enemies as you can, both left and right of the trench. Don't really need to worry about the enemies in the distance too much. They don't usually attack you. However, when you come out into the open there, be careful of the potential enemies both left and right of where you come out. Once you're up here, get behind this sort of half track. As soon as the 3 targets come up in the distance, mark the central one, and then your team will start moving up with the sort of ATV tank trap sort of vehicle. We need to sort of get as close to that here in the middle, get behind it, the half track, whatever it's called, and we're basically going to use this as cover as we push up the hill. It'll take a couple of seconds before it starts moving, but as long as you're behind it and you marked the target by pressing up on your D-pad, it will eventually send this up the hill, and we're going to use this as cover. We are going to concentrate more on the left hand side because that's the way we're going to go in just a moment. So yeah, just move up with this half track and take out as many enemies on the left as you can. You can use an AR or the sniper rifle. I'm using the Kar 98 because that's what I'm more comfortable with. More likely to get kills with headshots. So I'm just going to use this, but you can use whatever you want. You can just use your machine gun and sort of creep up with the light tank as you go. The half track, whatever they're called. And once you've taken out quite a few of these enemies from this position, we are going to jump in the trench. So just move up to the trench and make sure you get behind cover. You can switch back to your AR or SMG if you're now that you're in here. Keep an eye out for grenades and stuff, and basically make your way up slowly. You can chuck a couple of grenades over if you still got any, but keep in mind you may want to keep a couple in case you need them during the bunker attack. Once you've cleared out this top part of the trench, we are going to climb over to our left in just a second. And once we get to the top of here, we're going to mark the window which is just below us. Careful not to stay too much out in the open there because it can kill you with just 2 rounds. Mark it as quickly as you can and your team will go down and grenade the window. And once you do that, you will have to wait for the door to open on the left hand side. So yeah, we're just going to wait for this door to open here. It may take just a little while because, yeah, there we go. Once that door opens, just shoot as many as the enemies as you can. Any enemies that drop ammo, don't forget to pick it up because all ammo is super important on this game. We are going to make our way through here, and on the floor just over here is the torch. Go to pick that up, and there is a little bit of a cutscene here. I say cutscene, it's more of like a quick 5-second animation sort of thing. Once we've got our torch, we're going to head into the bunker. So just follow this guy here into the bunker and follow it around to the right. We need to then blow this up, so walk over and hold X. That will sort of start a little cutscene, animation, whatever you want to call it, and that will do that one. Once you've done that, head over towards this door on the right hand side, and we're going to head down this tunnel. Now this area is a little bit annoying. Once you go through this door, basically what we're going to do is there's 2 guys in this next sort of room, this next corridor. What we're going to do is we're going to creep down these stairs, and we're going to push ourselves to the left behind this locker door and crouch and look down this corridor to the right. Make sure you've got enough light that you can actually see down the corridor. and then look to your left and shoot the guy down the bottom of the steps there. So a guy runs at you from the right with a bayonet, and the other guy is at the bottom of the stairs. If you don't look to the right, the guy with the bayonet will probably have killed you. So hopefully you did that. Anyway, once you've managed to get back to this point, if you died, follow this guy Evans through here. You will need to crouch below this locker here, and in a moment Evans will get attacked from an enemy from the right hand side. If you shoot him quick enough, you will get an achievement if you haven't already got it. There he is. Shoot him as quick as you can, and that will be an achievement unlocked. Once that's the case, once we go into this next sort of stairwell, a grenade will come down the stairs. Once he shouts grenade, run back into this room around the corner, and then make your way upstairs after the explosion. And up the stairs here, and towards this red door. Now once you get to this red door, you will need to click on it, and Evans will throw a grenade inside for you. So Evans throws the grenade inside. Once that goes off, you will have to push inside. There is 3 enemies on your left and 2 on the right. Be sure to make sure they're all dead. Don't know where the guy on the left went here. I think he fell into the shadow and Evans must have killed him. Just make sure that you killed all 3 on the left and the 2 on the right. There might even be 3 on the right. Just make sure you killed them all before sort of walking around. I do stick with the same gun there. I did drop it by accident, but I did pick it back up again. Click on this big gun and let the animation play through. And as soon as you've put that sort of grenade in there, whatever it's, thermite, head to the right here and head up the ladder as quickly as you can. That will be a checkpoint. Head to the top of this ladder, and there will be a little bit of an animation where you will fire the flare. You will have to press the right trigger to fire the flare, and then you find out that it is actually a dud. Once you do that, a little bit of a scene starts where explosions, the island itself starts to get bombarded by your own ships because you haven't fired the flare. Anyway, head towards the shield just in the distance there. Head down here. There is a couple of enemies just up ahead, but head towards this shield. Ignore the truck, just keep running and then follow it down. Kill these 2 guys. Make sure you kill them both, because I actually didn't realize one was still alive and I got shot in the back. So be sure that they were both dead. There he is. He might have even come from the trench, I'm not too sure. Anyway, once you've killed him, the shield has moved down a little bit. You need to kill as many of these enemies in this sort of area where the shield is. You will need to push down. You may have quite low ammo at this point. Don't forget to switch your weapon if you run out of ammo, and kill whoever's remaining. You might have to do this part a couple of times. It can be a little bit tricky. Rush towards the shield and it will actually create an explosion which disappears any enemies that are actually there. So yeah, just keep moving forward towards the shield and down the steps and into the bunker on the left hand side, and that will create a cutscene. You may wish to pause this video for a moment until it catches up, but I am actually going to cut this cutscene out of this tutorial. So once that the flare is fired, I am going to cut it and we're going to get straight into the next level. So on the next level, you will start in this sort of dining room and you will be having a cup of tea with your family. I am going to fast forward it here. Again, you may wish to let my video play through, then pause it until you catch up. But basically, we're going to talk about a few things, and then eventually your brother will leave the room and forget his Molotovs, so you will need to follow him. So in just a second, he leaves the room realizing he's late, and you will need to follow. Be sure to pick up the Molotovs off the floor to the right. I'm not sure if it does it automatically. Yes, it does. We're going to leave the room to the right. Don't bother going and clicking on the things in the room. It's not necessary. Just keep following the small shield on the screen. Come around this corner and head down the stairs. This guy's trying to carry up the sofa all the way up the stairs on his own. Daft man. We'll head down the stairs and follow them around all the way to the ground floor. Again, I'm going to speed it up a little bit. There's your brother just up ahead. He goes to the right and towards the street over here. We're just going to follow him around and drop the Molotovs at his feet. He sort of chats a little while about what's going to happen. And once that's happened, we're actually going to go over here to the left and start climbing where the yellow sort of drapes are, whatever you want to call them. We're going to climb up here and we're going to climb over to the right here. This is our sort of parkour character. Head around to the left and through the window. Again, just ignore any sort of prompts that are on the screen to sort of interact with things. We don't need to do that. Follow it around underneath here and keep going forward. Head through this window and onto the roof. Head over to the right hand side of the roof and climb up onto this yellow sort of tarpaulin here. Keep following it to the right. Drop down onto this ledge to the right here, onto the balcony, and follow it around to the left. Climbing up onto the higher part of the roof there. Head straight forward here. Don't deviate, just keep going straight forward. When you drop off this next ledge, be careful not to drop too far because you will take damage. Just drop onto the nice lower ledge and then the bottom ledge. Walk across the glass roof and then drop down twice again. And keep following around to the left. Careful not to drop too far here. Drop onto the ledge just below. Careful not to get squished by the tank also. And then come over here and talk to these guys. They'll say you can't come through. So just head to the left and make your way through these sort of sandbag area just over here and underneath this. Now things are about to get interesting. I'm assuming that you've all played this on normal. If not, you're in for a nice little shock here. Head forward and head towards the shield on the screen. If that ever disappears, just press the select button, which I believe is a 2 square button on the controller. Walk over to these two guys and you'll see a plane coming at you in the distance. Once it gets close enough and starts shooting, turn around and head back the way you came. This time though, the truck has been blown out the way, so you can go the more quicker way just to the left over here. Go to the left and head through the sandbags and keep going forward. Climb back up on this roof over here by climbing on this sort of rope, the stones, and climb up on the roof. Head to the left and climb up this part here. Now on the glass part, stay in the middle, and then just as you get towards the end, you will need to move on to the left where there's only 3 panels left. Then climb up on the roof just up ahead using the sort of sticking out stones, and then head straight across this roof and sort of follow it round to the right through that little area where you can see the fires in the distance. Head to the right and head to the right again up towards the green roof. I looked to the left when I shouldn't. I needed to head up to this part. Yeah, head over towards the green wall there and run and jump towards this window. There will be a little bit of a cutscene in it here. I'm not sure if you have to press anything. I just held upwards on the D-pad, on the controller, and it climbed up through the window. Once you're in there, just head through the door on the left and head through those. You may want to pause the video there if you need to catch up, and just head through that building and you will drop down into the next building and there will be a cutscene. I am going to speed it up here just so you don't have to watch me. If you want to pause my video after this part, that's fine till you catch up. Head down the stairs and then to the right and then head into the door on the right hand side. Do not attack the Nazis there. And come into this room to the right and climb through underneath here and pick up the knife off the chopping board on the right hand side. I'm going to go use this to stealthily kill this guy here. I'm going to pick up the shotgun just in front. So pick up that shotgun. I'm going to head into this room to the right. Now we're going to shoot 3 enemies to our right in this through this little hole, but one will come behind us to get ready to get shot from behind and turn around quickly and kill him. You may want to kill 2 there and turn around, kill that guy, then kill the 3rd. If for any reason you died there, it is just a bit further back, but it is pretty straightforward. I'm going to jump up here and I'm going to fast forward the video again. So again, if you want to wait till it catches up, please pause my video. Make your way around this ledge and drop down. And then head into the building through this broken wall. Follow it around and climb up. And then just keep following it through. Crouch down here and go into your home. Once you're through here, pick up the sniper rifle off the floor just where you drop. Pick up the sniper rifle when it gives you the option to. In fact, I think it does it automatically. It must do. Pick up that and make your way to the window over here. Now you'll see your family, your father and a couple of your friends getting aimed at by the Nazis. There's nothing you can do about it, unfortunately, I don't think. So I'd recommend just shooting at them, the enemies, the Nazis. Always start with the furthest one away and then sort of look down towards the screen and move forward. That way the furthest person away shouldn't be, the closer people shouldn't be able to shoot you. Eventually the Nazis will come up behind you into the corridor. Using the shotgun, we're going to make our way through. Be very careful here because you can get a little bit overpowered with the amount of Nazis that come up. 2 Nazis should be right here ahead of us. Kill both of those. And then head towards the left. Every time you get a little bit of a break between the Nazis, do reload. Make sure you're aiming down your sights for this part and kill the Nazis on the stairwell. Again, block off the view of one of the enemies while you kill the other so they can't shoot you while you're fighting the other. It is always good to know which sort of cover you can use to block off an enemy from seeing you, so that you're only limiting yourself to fighting one or maybe a couple of enemies at once rather than 5 or 6. Anyway, slowly make your way down the stairs and Nazis should keep running up. Be sure to pick up any ammo you can on the way. And as you get towards the main front door, you will get rushed by a couple of Nazis that come running in. I would recommend moving back up to the 2nd floor if you're taking any damage and just allowing yourself to sort of recuperate that health. Once you're back to normal, we're going to slowly head down the screen again, the stairs again should I say, and we're going to take out these last few Nazis. Just peek over the rail and hopefully you might get lucky and one might be right in your view. But I would slowly move from left to right and take out whatever enemies left. Keeping in mind one of them is probably hidden around this corner, or maybe 2 of them are hidden around that corner. And once they're all dead, head outside and head to the left where your father is. I am going to fast forward it here. Again, pause the video if you need to catch up. So, once you've finished speaking to your father, we are going to head the way that the screen faces us after that sort of cutscene. And just on the right hand side of the screen here, there's a truck. Don't walk in front of the tank and all the enemies. We need to crouch next to this truck and go underneath it. So it's just down the right hand side, crouch underneath that. If you did get triggered, the cutscene there, just restart and then head under this tank and the jeep, should I say. Head underneath the jeep, the truck, and underneath all the sort of road platforms. Come out behind the boxes and kill this guy. And then we're going to head inside and climb up into this air vent over here in the corner. This next little area is going to be a bit tricky for some of you. Some of you will probably breeze it and others may struggle here. We're going to bash this vent and then we're going to shoot the guy just ahead of us. Then we're going to go on through the vent on the right hand side and we're going to kill as many of the Nazis in this sort of room here as possible. Whenever we take damage or we get a little bit overpowered, just head back into the vent until you've gathered yourself. Then we're just going to keep creeping out, peeking around the corner and taking out as many enemies as we can. You can use your shotgun, or if it's really necessary, you can use your sniper rifle. I do switch my shotgun once it runs out of ammo for this SMG, but again, this thing doesn't really have much ammo either, so I use it as much as I can, kill as many enemies as I can. Again, just keep dipping back into the vent if you take any damage or you get overpowered. There's 2 guys running up here behind me. But yeah, basically you need to clear out this room here, and once you've done that, we're okay to leave to the next part. I would recommend keeping your Car 98 with you if you can. But yeah, once you've killed all the enemies in this room, we're going to head over to the right, and then just here on the right hand side, there's a main sort of front door. We're going to leave through there. I am having a quick look around for ammo, but I don't think I find any from memory. So yeah, have a quick look around if you like. But yeah, you need to leave by the main door just there in the open. Then come outside and we're going to head to the right and go into the bus. Don't go to the left, just stick to the right, go through the bus and keep going forward. Crouch underneath these railings and stuff and head out the bus. Then climb up the wall just ahead of you, which leads you into the post office. In this room there's some Molotovs. I would highly recommend picking some up. Once you pick some of those up, we are actually going to head into the vent here. Now, I do pick up a PPSH, because it is a great gun. However, in the next room, there is an even better one. So head through the vent, and when you get to the next room, there is loads of ammo and stuff, grenades, Molotovs, etc. Pick up as many as you want, but on the shelf above my head, there is a extended mag PPSH, which I would highly recommend picking up. However, I would also recommend using a weapon that you're most comfortable with. So I'm going to pick this one up and I'm sticking with my Car 98 as my secondary. Don't forget to pick up as much ammo as you can because you're going to need it for this next round. And once you've done that, we're going to climb up this wall here at the top of the room where the vent is. And we're going to climb into that vent and head along the vents until we end up in the next room. When you drop down, kill the guy straight ahead of you. And then what we're going to do here is we are actually going to... you can kill this guy, but it's really up to you at this point. I would just recommend actually heading to the left. So once you drop down at the vent, head to the left and follow it around this way. And you'll see some steps in the distance here. We're going to head up into that room there, just above the steps. The stairs. So head through here and head up the stairs. Try not to get spotted at this point. And what we're going to do is, once we're at the top of these stairs, we're going to clear these couple of rooms out here. So just creep around, make sure you stay crouched, and we're going to kill all the enemies without alerting anybody else. Keep it in mind, if you do alert anybody, it's not the end of the world. Use these sort of air vents and tables, etc. as cover, and just dip between them really, because the enemies can't go through those. So just use those and just sort of dip in and out of those and kill as many enemies as possible. But I am just going to kill as many up here before I alert the other enemies. You are going to be in this area for quite a while, and you'll see from my point of view that I'm here as well. I'm just looking around this sort of top ledge here for some more enemies. Again, just try and take them down without getting spotted, and then eventually you can alert the enemies. And what we're going to do is we're going to stick up on this sort of eye area, and we're going to dip in between these couple of rooms here. So keep it in mind that you want to be using these air vents and these tables and stuff to sort of dip in and out of to stay alive. Stay up here and the enemies will come to you for the majority. For a good while they will keep coming up the stairs and stuff, so just keep dipping in and out of here, staying on this top sort of area, and eventually the enemies will either come up this way to the right or they will come up the way to the left. In my case they came up behind me on the left hand side, so I'm just going to start taking these guys out. Keeping in mind these vents everywhere, so do use those to your advantage. It will allow you to sneak up behind the enemies all the time, so that is really good advantage. Just try to stay alive, and eventually you will get a checkpoint in this area, and just keep doing that for the time being. So as you can see, I did get shot there, but as long as you don't take too many rounds and you're ducking in between these vents, you should be able to stay alive. Just follow it around and eventually you will kill a couple more enemies. A couple of enemies in here. Again, best to use the vents than walking out into the open if you can help it. Always try to stick to the vents and stuff. Eventually the enemies will actually stop coming. So when it gets a bit quiet, what we're going to do is, again, just don't forget to dip in between these if there is any enemies. But eventually, when the enemies stop coming, we're going to look over this balcony here, and we're actually going to snipe the remaining enemies down the bottom. Keeping in mind, as soon as we do take a shot with our sniper rifle, our Kar 98, we will trigger enemies to start trying to get up to us. So keep that in mind, because some may come behind you, just like this guy does on me. I've left that in there just to show you that don't leave it sort of too long while you're sniping, because it will get you killed. But anyway, again, once it gets a bit quiet, hopefully you didn't die like I did. I left that in there to show you, but make sure you're always checking behind you every now and again. Again, I'm just going to sort of sniper these few, but this time I'm not going to make that same mistake as I did before. So we know from looking there that two of the enemies are coming up to our left, so they will be coming up behind us. But we've also got enemies coming up here to our right as well. So we're actually going to go and take these guys out. Again, always sticking to the vents and the tables, just because that gives us that extra cover and we can quickly move throughout them really easily. So we're just going to keep making our way around just here, in and out between these boxes and tables and stuff, just until we've taken out a good chunk of the enemies again. Then we're going to sort of repeat this process. So when it gets a bit quiet again, we're going to head back over here and we're going to start sniping over the balcony again. So just have a look down and hopefully you can see some enemies. If you can't, make your way to the right, and don't forget to remember enemies will try and creep up on you. And again, just to keep going in between these tables and stuff and using them to your advantage. Right, so once we've done quite a few, you will notice that some snipers appear on the balconies opposite you. Just peek the balconies through this window here and take out any snipers that are across the other side there. Be careful looking into the dark, sort of glowing orange area, because it's very difficult to see, but the enemies can see you very, very easily. Now, like I mentioned, we are going to sort of stay around this area for just a little bit longer. It can get a little bit boring, sort of hiding in one area, but because of the difficulty level, this is the easiest place to defend without getting killed. I mean, by all means, if you want to go down into the center, you can survive there, but it is a lot harder. Because of the difficulty setting, I would highly recommend hanging around this area to kill off as many of the Nazis as possible before we sort of continue. But yeah, I'm just going to stay around here just a little bit longer, and eventually we're going to start moving around the rest of the map once we're confident that we've cleared out enough. There was an explosion behind me there, so I'm going to head back this way. Yeah, a couple more enemies in here, so I'm going to take these guys out. Again, just take your time, don't forget to dip in between the tunnels and stuff. Keep an eye out for grenade markers on your screen, and just keep heading between these tables and stuff. I honestly can't say enough how easy it is to stay alive by just dipping in and out of these, and the enemy sort of lose you and put their back to you quite a lot when you come through here, which makes it 10 times easier. And you do get a checkpoint after about 10 minutes or so, I would recommend waiting until you get that checkpoint before sort of trying to be brave or crazy. But at this point, I did get a bit bored and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go down. So I'll go down the stairs, and then directly ahead of the stairs, I go through the vent, and I start making my way around the map, trying to clear out any enemies that are still left. There is a sniper up on the opposite balcony, so I decide that I'm going to go get him. So I stick to the left of the map and make my way through these vents. Now, you don't have to do this. You can move to the center of the map once you've cleared out enough. There is enough tables and little tunnels and stuff towards the center, which makes it easy enough to stay alive, as long as you've cleared out the main bulk of enemies from up on the ledge where we were before. You would have done enough, I believe. But yeah, what we're going to do is just going to creep around the outsides of the map. Well, I am. Again, you don't have to, but I would recommend sort of following along with what I'm doing if you can. I'm going to creep around the outside of the map, and I'm going to try and find any enemies that are sort of on their own around this way. Again, it is a bit long-winded, this part, and sorry it gets a little bit boring. You can sort of look through these, and enemies will try and blast you from miles away. But yeah, just sort of stick to the outskirts of the map until you have managed to clear out as many as possible. And then when you're confident that most of them are gone, we are actually going to head to the center very soon. But I have gone around the entire outside of the map now, and a couple of enemies have come to me, so I've managed to kill those, or should I say a enemy. Another one's here behind me now as well. As soon as you start getting shot, don't forget to dip between the desks and stuff and use those as cover and try and find out who has shot you. Again, don't be scared to dip in to the tunnels. Again, as I mentioned, once you're confident enough that you've killed enough enemies and there's probably only a handful left, we are probably best going to the center. And again, there is holes and stuff beneath the tables in the center which can help us to stay alive. Again, once you get down to the bottom, I recommend creeping around and killing any enemies that you can. So yeah, I am slowly making my way towards the center here. And as I mentioned, in the center, we'll see enemies there. We're going to crouch between these tables and stuff, and we're just going to pick off all the enemies that are still left in the middle. There should be about 5 or 6, maybe a little bit more. But as long as, like I said before, you killed all the enemies at the top, and you draw them to you while you're up there, you should have no problem clearing this area at all. Sorry, I'm waffling on a bit, but when you're doing the same thing over and over again, it's kind of run out of things to say. But hopefully you're keeping up with me and you've managed to clear the level. Once you've cleared all the enemies out, your brother will call you over. You will need to go over to him and cut his restraints, and then he will walk away. You will need to follow him, and he will do a bit of a dialogue with you. I am going to speed it up here because, again, you don't need to read or watch mine when you've got to do it yourself. Pause the video if you need to until you catch up. Eventually, your brother will tell you to go onto the roof and he'll give you a boost up. There you go. So it gives you a boost up. You need to climb up the roof there. So just head all the way up this pillar and eventually you will climb on the roof. When you climb on the roof, head over to the right here and jump up this little ledge. And just below us on this ledge here, all the Nazis are gathering and we need to start killing them. Now I would keep the ledge as low on your screen as possible, just so you're shooting at the enemies that are at the top end of your screen. That way anyone below you shouldn't be able to shoot you. So any enemies within the top half of your screen, concentrate on first, then slowly move forward, allowing the enemies that are a bit close to you to obviously be visible. Hopefully that makes sense. So start with the enemies further away, then work your way down the screen towards the enemies that are closer. Keep it in mind, if you do take damage, to move away from the ledge until you are healed again. And again, I do use the sniper rifle here. I am okay with sniper rifle. Hopefully you are. If you're not, you can use SMGs or ARs, but it will take you quite a while. So I would recommend just using the sniper rifle here and doing as much damage as you can. I wouldn't recommend trying to go for the one-shot sniper kill achievement here. I would recommend doing that on either easy or recruit, just because of the pressure of damage for doing this on veteran. So yeah, just take your time, pop backwards and forwards, trying to spot enemies to shoot. Make sure that when you are reloading, you're back away from the ledge so that you're not reloading out in the open. Make sure you're fully reloaded before going back forward again. Eventually, these half tracks will come forward with Nazis close by. We're just going to use the same trick again. Pop forward, choose a target, shoot them, and then pop back into cover until you are confident that you have got enough. Again, I would always recommend starting with the enemies furthest away and then moving on to the enemies that are closer to you. That basically means reducing the line of sight of the closer enemies. Yeah, so the closer you are to the ledge, the more enemies will be able to shoot you. The further away from the edge, the less likely enemies will be able to shoot you. So just keep that in mind. I'm sure you know what I mean, but majority of you will anyway. You can use a few of these Molotovs because there's a Molotov box to your left over there. So if you want to pick up some Molotovs, by all means do so. I would recommend saving one until the half track is below you and you got a good line of sight on that, because you can actually get an achievement by chucking a Molotov in the half track, which is below you there. I've already got the achievement, so I obviously don't need to go for it. Eventually some Nazis will spawn on the left hand side over here, so we're going to take those out. And yeah, just keep an eye on the left hand side. Once the area below you is cleared, start aiming over to the left and you'll see the half track with some guys there. Then they'll start coming out of the building opposite you, the one with the orange sort of, I think they're orange on my screen, they look orange anyway, window sort of covers, and we're going to shoot them, and then eventually some of the Nazis will appear in the window. Now, just as I miss my shots here, I'll take a moment just to tell you, once we killed these three guys and a couple more guys below us, some enemies will spawn to our left on the roof with us, well, on the opposite roof, so keep that in mind. We need to move back as soon as we kill these. We need to move back as quickly as we can to this point here so that we don't get shot in our back, and we're going to just peek this and slowly move around while killing any enemies in sight. Once we killed one, we're okay to move around a little bit more. Wait till we spot another and shoot them. One of the guys ran to our right, so just be wary of him. Once you've killed all them, that is pretty much mission complete for this level. Run straight ahead, down on this balcony here, onto this scaffold. Drop down to your right and follow the shield on your screen. Follow it around past the bus and into the sewers over here. And then once we're in here, we're going to be in the room and the door will close. And that is that for that area. As I previously mentioned, guys, I am going to be doing this in a couple of stages. That is part 1 over and done with. Hopefully you've managed to sort of stay along with us, keep along with us, and you've managed to get through that part of, or almost most of the game to this point with relatively ease. If for any reason you have struggled or something didn't quite work out for you, please let us know in the comments so we can make other people aware of those things. Anyway, please consider subscribing, guys, if we are helping you to get these achievements. It's the only way that we can grow, and when we grow we can make more achievement guides just like this, which will help you in the future. So yeah, you help us and we'll help you. It's as simple as that. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and we'll see you in part 2 very, very soon. Take care.
Boss Fight Gaming. You lose. Game over.